Hello loves, Dark Side back again with another Dark Side Goes to Prison episode. This is going to be episode 9 in the series. I'll put it in the playlist. So I told you guys the other day that I was going to be telling you about a crazy story about the first time I ever met my first convicted murderer in DOC, okay? So I'm going to pick up where I left off. So we were still in the intake area where they do all their profiling, the medical stuff and everything. Medical evaluation, things like that. And then later on that afternoon, probably around like 3 or 4, they wound up coming and letting us know what permanent housing unit we were going to be staying in. I was going to be in B dorm, which is, there's 3 different types of dorms that you could be in DOC. As far as I know, there might be other ones, but every camp that I've been to has had the same type. One of the 3. There's what they call a T building. It's shaped just like a T, and each part of the T is a different unit, okay? There might be 3 units on that one building, okay? And then there's also what they call open bay dorm. It's A dorm to the left, B dorm to the right, and then the officer station in the middle. It's nothing but glass. They could see both sides, A dorm and B dorm, and you could actually see the people, the other inmates in A dorm or whatever, because I was in one of those in B dorm at my permanent camp where I was at, my permanent prison. And then there's also another type called a butterfly dorm. Okay, which is, it's set up, it looks just like a butterfly. The wings, basically, it's set up very similar to that. But each section of, like the left wing or the right wing, there's 2 sections on each. Those are each individual housing units, okay? So you might have like 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 on the right. So if you kind of get my point. You can kind of Google it. You can go to Central Florida Reception Center. You can see what a butterfly dorm looks like. Go check it out. It's pretty crazy. You'll see how big the compound is. Okay, so now moving on to this, the person I was telling you guys about. I'm going to go ahead and just call him, you know, for the sake of argument, we're just going to go ahead and call him B. I don't want to give his real name. I don't want to give any names out in any of these stories, unless it's somebody that I'm cool with, okay? I mean, I was cool with this guy, but when I had first entered the dorm, okay, I saw this guy. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this guy looks weird. And I don't mean, like, I'm not saying that to be a smart ass or be funny. I mean, he looked off. And what I mean by that, like, he kept walking around the dorm and, like, have his head down with his hands behind his back, like, walking around, like, kind of hunched over, very defeated, like, looking depressed and sad. You know what I mean? And he wouldn't really talk to anybody, and he would say hi to you, you know, yes, no, things like that. But you could not hold a conversation with this guy. He was a nice enough guy. He was a black guy. He was probably about maybe 5'10", 5'11", probably about 230 pounds. So he wasn't a small dude, you know, but he was a nice guy. You know, I gotta say that. Like, talking to him, when I did talk to him, he would smirk a little bit here and there, but he wouldn't have a whole conversation with you. He was just, something about him was very, very off. You know what I mean? Like, it was just off. And come to find out later on, I found out exactly why he was the way he was. You know what I mean? As the story unfolded to me. So, one of the guys that I was in, that I had rode up to the prison with in my, you know, my county, in the transport bus, he was his cellie. He was B's cellie. Now, I wasn't really friends with this guy, but I talked to him because he was from my county, so we had talked a few times, and I would go down there and talk to him in his cell and this and that, and B would be there, you know, just sitting there, and I'd be kind of, you know, I'd try not to stare at the guy, you know, but I would think to myself, what the fuck could this guy have done that he's in here? I don't see him being, you know, like a criminal, this guy. Like, he did not seem like, he didn't strike me as he was like a criminal at all. And then later on, as the weeks went by, the guy that I was talking to that was from my county came out and told me what he was in there for. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. I'm like, that guy is, no. I'm like, no way. He's like, dude, trust me. That's what he's in here for. And I'm like, huh. And I sat back a minute, and I thought about it, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense now. You know, the way he's acting and the way he is. And so I started talking more to the guy. I wasn't going to ask him plain out what he did, right? But the guy that I was, you know, from my county was like, he would kind of throw shit out there. And then finally, one day, B told me what he was in there for and how long he had left. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no way, bro. He's like, yeah. He's like, I got life. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I felt so bad for him. And then as, you know, the weeks went on, because I was there about a little over a month, I think, he had told me what had happened. He had told me and the other guy from my county what had happened. Now, he didn't remember anything. This is the craziest part about it. So basically what had happened with this guy was, he was I don't remember if he was a cross-country truck driver or a cross-state truck driver, but what had happened was he came back early to surprise his wife or his fiance, I don't remember what she was, surprise her, and came into the house and caught her cheating on him with another guy. So what had happened was he just fucking lost it. He snapped, pulled out his gun, and he shot and killed her. He killed his wife, and the guy tried to get up and run, and he shot and he paralyzed him. He shot him in the back. He just fucking lost it. But talking to him about it, he didn't really remember that. The only reason I know is I read his discovery. He let me and he let us read it. Discovery is like the details on everything in the case. Witnesses, what happened, the times, everything, the dates, everything. It's anything about the case is in that discovery. Everything. The neighbors reported hearing the shot at a certain amount of time. He did not remember shooting them. He just lost his shit. He fucking snapped, this guy. And that explained it. And I'm like, no, that explains exactly why he is the way he is. Because when I was in the military, right, they used to tell us anybody could pull the trigger. It's living with yourself afterwards that you have to deal with. And I think that's kind of the way why he was so fucked up, is he was still in shock, this guy. Because you would talk to him and he'd be like, I didn't do it, man. There's no way I fucking did it. I would never hurt her. And he would start like almost bawling, dude. And I would almost start fucking crying with the guy, dude, because I felt so bad for him. Because I've never been in that position. Granted, probably most of the people in the world probably wouldn't have done what he did, but he just lost it, dude. He fucking snapped. He lost all control. And that's one of the reasons why he didn't get the death penalty, because in certain instances of a case of a murder like this, they have it's called a crime of passion, which means that he didn't premeditarily go and try and kill her. He didn't go there to try and murder her on purpose. Like that wasn't his. He was going home to his wife. All the text messages matched up. I saw everything in the discovery. All the text messages, honey, I love you. I'll talk to you later. He didn't tell her he was coming home because it was supposed to be a surprise. You know what I mean? So nothing of ill intent was in the text messages that I saw in the. He didn't say, fuck you, bitch. No, they were in love, man. And I guess it just worked out to be what happened. And he just lost his shit, dude. He just lost his shit. And that's why he was so fucked up and so out of it, because he was still dealing with it. He still does not believe that he did this. It hasn't hit him yet. I mean, it probably has by now. This is 16 years ago. So, I mean, I'm sure he's dealing with it now, but like at the time it was only like a year and a half, because the witness testified. He came, all that stuff came to light once the witness healed and everything. It was a year and a half, almost 2 years later, that they got the witness on the stand and, and testified and everything. And it was a fucking mess, dude. From what he told us and what the discovery wrote, or what was written in the discovery, like it was a big deal, man. But you talk to him and he would tell you, I don't remember doing that, man. He said the last thing he remembers is seeing them together, and then that was it. Everything went blank after that. Like he just fucking lost it. So that's that right there. And I felt bad for the dude, because like I said, I can't judge him because I don't know what I would do in that position. Nobody does. You know what I mean? Imagine you came in and you saw somebody, beating up your mom or something, whatever, trying to rape your mom, whatever it is, doing something to one of your family members, and you fucking snap and you kill them or whatever. It's Oh man, it was fucked up, dude. I felt bad for the guy, but I really did. But at the same time, I kept my distance from him, but I didn't like stop talking to him. I still talked to him and stuff, you know, and I respected him and stuff, because you got to, man, because you can't really judge somebody like that, you know what I mean? Because I've never been in that position, never been put in that position. I don't want to, and you don't know how you'd react. That's all I'm saying. You don't know how you would react until it happened to you. So, but anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I will talk to you guys soon, and yeah, stay out of trouble, all of you, please. And yeah, this is kind of good. I like talking about this stuff, because I haven't talked to really anybody about this stuff in a long time. I don't have people that I could just talk to like that. You know, this kind of gives me an outlet for like talking to people, and talking about it brings it right back to memory, like it happened yesterday, man. It's amazing. So, all right, guys, I gotta go. Hopefully you have a good night. Peace.